Welcome back to the Real Crimson Files. Tonight we're diving deep into the forensic breakthrough that revolutionized criminal investigation and solved one of America's most notorious cold cases. For over a decade, the Gilgo Beach murders seemed unsolvable. Traditional DNA testing had failed. Hundreds of suspects had been cleared. The Long Island serial killer remained a ghost. Then, in 2025, a revolutionary forensic technique changed everything and caught a killer who thought he was uncatchable. This is the story of how advanced DNA testing transformed criminal justice forever. Standard STR DNA testing, used for decades in criminal investigations, analyzes 20 specific genetic markers. It's highly effective when DNA samples are pristine and abundant, but it fails when samples are degraded, contaminated, or microscopic, exactly the situation with the Gilgo Beach evidence. For years, investigators had biological evidence from the crime scenes, but it was too degraded for traditional analysis. The killer had been careful, the evidence was old, and environmental factors had damaged what little DNA remained. Enter whole genome sequencing, a technique borrowed from medical research and adapted for forensic use. Instead of analyzing 20 genetic markers, WGS examines hundreds of thousands, creating a comprehensive genetic profile from even the tiniest DNA fragments. The process is extraordinarily complex. DNA samples are amplified using specialized enzymes, sequenced using cutting-edge technology, and analyzed using artificial intelligence algorithms that can identify patterns invisible to traditional methods. When investigators applied WGS to evidence from the Gilgo Beach victims, they discovered usable DNA profiles that had been there all along, just beyond the reach of traditional testing. Male DNA from multiple crime scenes, consistent across victims, pointing to a single perpetrator. Meanwhile, surveillance teams collected Rex Heuermann's DNA from discarded items, a pizza crust, a coffee cup, even hair samples from his barbershop. When subjected to the same WGS analysis, the results were staggering. The probability calculations were mind-boggling. The chance that the DNA found on the victims belonged to someone other than Rex Heuermann was 1 in 2.6 trillion, a number so large it represents near certainty. But the breakthrough wasn't just in identification, it was in the legal precedent. New York courts had never allowed WGS evidence before. The technology was so new that legal frameworks didn't exist for its use in criminal trials. Defense attorneys challenged the admissibility of WGS evidence, arguing it was too new, too complex, and potentially unreliable. They questioned the statistical calculations, the laboratory procedures, and the interpretation of results. But on September 3, 2025, Judge Timothy Mazzi ruled that WGS evidence would be allowed in Heuermann's trial, setting a legal precedent that would reshape American criminal justice. The ruling recognized that science evolves, and the law must evolve with it. The Rex Heuermann case represents more than just one solved murder, it's the dawn of a new era in forensic science. Whole genome sequencing is now being applied to thousands of cold cases across America, giving hope to families who thought they'd never see justice. The technology is so powerful that it's forcing a re-evaluation of cases once considered unsolvable. DNA evidence thought to be too degraded for analysis is being re-examined using WGS, revealing new leads and identifying suspects in cases decades old. But with great power comes great responsibility. The same technology that caught Rex Heuermann raises profound questions about privacy, genetic surveillance, and the extent to which our DNA can be used to track our movements and associations. As we enter this new age of genetic investigation, one thing is certain: criminals who thought they had escaped justice through the passage of time are learning that DNA never forgets, science never stops advancing, and justice may be closer than they think. The Gilgo Beach breakthrough proved that in the battle between criminals and science, science will ultimately win.